Broadcasting live from the WGBB World Headquarters here in New York. This is the Big Fat Joey Show with your host, Big Fat Joey.
Hey, son. Good morning, Big Fat Joey. Big Fat Joey Show. Biggest thing on radio. What's up?
Good morning, Big Fat Joey. How are you today?
Living large, laying low. Got an exciting, jam-packed full show today. But first and foremost, I want to talk how today is May 1st, and there was a freeze warning last night. Still too cold.
Well, I feel like this weekend was a little better, though. The sun was out. At least it wasn't raining.
True. I mean, it was nice yesterday. We were out in the Hamptons and, putzing around, getting crowded out there. But it's just still a little too windy, a little too cold for my liking.
Well, I started summer shopping, and we're going to talk about that today, too. But I got some cute things. They're all coming in, so I'm getting ready for the summer. But we're going to speak to who?
Well, we have a great lineup today. First and foremost, to start off our day, we have actor and impressionist Jim Meskimen. You might not know his face. You might not know of him readily, from seeing him on TV, but he is on a lot of programs. He does a lot of voiceovers, first and foremost. For those who are big fans of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Jim is the voice of Kentucky Fried Chicken's Colonel Sandersin. He's also in the GEICO commercial. He's the actor portraying George Washington crossing the Delaware Turnpike, not the river. Jim is also been in a handful of Ron Howard movies. He is a man of many talents. He paints, he does voiceovers, he does acting. For those who remember the Thundercats cartoon from back in the day, the mid to early 80s, he had a big part of drawing up different characters for that show. So it's great to have him on. He is super, super fun. And he's also related to someone everyone knows who's listening. He's also related to Marion Ross, also known as Mrs. Cunningham, affectionately known as Mrs. C, from everyone's favorite TV show, Happy Days.
I love that. I'm so excited. And also, he's in a new movie, I thought, with Julia Roberts.
He's in a handful of new movies. He's in Hunters, which is on Amazon. That's with Al Pacino. He's in Gaslit, which is on the Starz Network with Sean Penn and Julia Roberts. And he's on The Big Door Prize on Apple TV from the creators of Schitt's Creek. Now, those three things are just a slight smidgen of work this man has done. His resume and the work he's on, work he's completing and doing right now, we'd be here for 3 days doing this interview, trying to tell you everything he's done. But those are his three latest projects, so make sure you check those all out, and you can catch him on Instagram at Jimpressions. Up next, Sin, who do we have?
I'm so excited. We're talking to Andy Paige, all about fashion, style for the Kentucky Derby and for summer.
Andy's speaking with us. She will be at the Kentucky Derby this upcoming Saturday down in Louisville, Kentucky, Churchill Downs. And she spoke with us all about fashion, especially the hats that are worn on Kentucky Derby. A friend of the Big Fat Joey Show she was on a couple of months back. It's always great to have her. She is definitely one to speak with, especially about fashion. Sin's all into that, loves her fashion, loves her playing in the closet, the pocketbooks, the purses, the makeup, you name it. Sin loves it. So it's great to have Andy Paige on with us today. And everyone, you can follow her at the Andy Paige on Instagram. And to wrap up today's show, we have another friend of the Big Fat Joey Show who's been on before, Ray Castronovo. He is the leader of the group Streetwise. He has a benefit concert this Friday, May 6th, at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead, benefiting the Leukemia and Lymphoma Foundation. If you'd like to get tickets, check out his bio on his Instagram site, and that's Streetwise NYC to get tickets, or go to the Suffolk Theater website to pick up tickets. He's going to be doing a double album release party, The Other Side and Crossing Bridges, the two different albums. And we're going to be listening to his song 440 off of his latest album that he's dropping that day, The Other Side. Super fun song about a woman who loves driving her 440 car. And if you guys out there, you know what that is all about. So we're going to be speaking to Ray as well today. And when you get a chance, everyone, in my Instagram post, there's a link to donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Foundation. So please do. I know everyone who listens is very, very generous. So if you could do that, otherwise, go to Ray's link and you'll be able to donate as well. But, definitely get some tickets. It's going to be a fun, fun time over at the Suffolk Theater. All right. So up next is my interview with actor and impressionist Jim Meskimen. All right, everyone, let's welcome to the line actor and impressionist Jim Meskimen. Jim, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you doing?
Living large, Jim. Living large here in New York, waiting for spring to finally spring itself upon us, but unfortunately, it's holding back.
It'll come eventually. I know it is. I'm tracking it on FedEx. It'll be there any day now.
I like that. Well, hopefully, it'll get here sooner than later. Well, Jim, thank you for being on. Super, super excited to have you. You're a man of many, many talents. This would be like a 3-day interview if we had to go over all the talents and things you have done, but it's great to have you on. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Give my audience a little tidbit on who Jim Meskimen is.
Well, you've heard my voice for years on different things. I've been, I'm one of these working actors. I'm not a big star. I'm not a huge celebrity. Maybe someday, who knows? My mother is a big celebrity, though, or was in her day, and that's Marion Ross of Happy Days.
She still is, Jim. Still is.
She played Mrs. C. She's
an icon.
She's going to be famous forever. Yeah, she really is, and she's a sweetheart and a treasure, and we adore her. But originally, a lot of your listeners might have heard me doing the Colonel Sandersin voice, because this is a voice I used to promote the KFC brand. So I've been doing that for about 6 years.
Making me hungry now. Making me hungry.
No, they didn't dig him up. That's just an actor. That's just me doing that voice. And you've seen me on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and in Apollo 13. I've been in 5 Ron Howard films and lots and lots of TV shows and Friends and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and got some stuff coming up too. So you've seen me. You don't necessarily know my name, but I hope that changes.
Well, you know what? The KFC, I'm not telling you, you're making me hungry. And one thing about KFC, I love their mashed potatoes. I don't know how they make them, how they do them, but those are some of.
Well, it's mashed potato. It's a special proprietary blend of mashed potatoes and heroin. So that's why I keep you coming back. You didn't hear it from me.
I love that. I love that. Now, I know you do. Like I said, you're a working actor, and you're doing a million different things, and you have a couple of great projects coming up: Hunters, Gaslit, and the Big Door Prize. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, Gaslit I'll mention first, because that's actually coming out very shortly, April 24th. So that's real soon, and that's Julia Roberts as Martha Mitchell. Those of your listeners who are old enough to remember the Watergate affair and all of being on the news, and you'll remember Martha Mitchell, the wife of Attorney General John Mitchell, and it was played by, in our show, Sean Penn, under quite a lot of really brilliant makeup. And it's a very interesting story about Watergate and this individual who's sort of been forgotten by history, and it's directed by a terrific director named Matt Ross, who's just fantastic. And I play a senator, Senator Gurney. And it's a really interesting project. I think it'll be a very fun show to watch. It's a limited series. I think there are 8 episodes in all, and that'll be on the Stars Network, launching April 24th. So that's the first one that's big and exciting. And then, as you mentioned, I've got an episode of Hunters coming up, the second season. I think it's the second, maybe it's the 3rd season of Hunters. That's a series with Al Pacino. It's a Nazi hunting series. So don't look for it on Nickelodeon. You're not going to find it. And so that's going to come out, I think, in August, and I get to play. I can't say too much about that because the show is really got a lot of kind of interesting stuff in it that they don't want us to reveal. So, okay, fine. But I'll just say that this is a wonderful show, Hunters, and you will enjoy it very much when you see it. And the last thing, which I'm very excited about, I've got a recurring role in a new show from Apple. It'll be on Apple called The Big Door Prize. Sounds like a game show or a show about giving away gifts. It's not. It's based on a book of the same title. And it's about, it stars Chris O'Dowd. If you know Chris O'Dowd, he's a wonderful young Irish actor who was in Bridesmaids, among other things. And he's in it, and he plays a guy who's a teacher in a small town where a very high-tech fortune-telling machine drops into the local grocery store and purports to tell everybody, if for $2, their destiny and what their true destiny is based on all the scientific metrics of the day. And that just throws this town into chaos. So it's a funny show by the makers of Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I love that show.
I'll be a character in that show. I can't really say too much more about it, except it's going to be really fun. And as far as I know, there is no door prize in the Big Door Prize, but there is a lot of fun interaction.
Now, I know you. One of my favorite cartoons growing up. You had involvement with the Thundercats.
Yeah, when I was in my 20s, I got a job doing storyboards for Rankin Bass for a new show they were working on called Thundercats at the time. This is in the early 80s. And I really failed miserably at the storyboards, but they were nice enough to hire me on to do what I was more suited for, which was character design. Mm-hmm. And I wound up working for them for a year or more, actually, designing characters for their shows. And characters, weapons, vehicles, all kinds of animals, weird beasts. And if you're a fan of Thundercats, you know that there was a lot of really strange stuff in every show.
Exactly.
And it was probably designed by me when I was in my 20s. And I had a great time doing it. And it helped me as a day job to break into show business, which I really wanted to do as an actor. And I went to the first recording of an animated show was the Thundercats. And I saw those actors in the booth at Howard Schwartz recording in the Gray Bar building near Grand Central. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I thought, this is it. This is the job. I want to be messing around with actors behind a mic. And I had a really good time. When I eventually worked for them, the first job I got was for a Rankin Bass animated series. So they were very kind to me at Rankin Bass, and I'll never forget Jules Bass. He was a really sweet guy and a very creative guy.
Well, I must thank you because as a child, early 80s, I loved Thundercats. So thank you for making my childhood some fun. And I had, I wish I still had my Thundercat toys and Star Wars toys and all the toys I had. But, great cartoon.
Thanks. I'm glad you like it. I've managed to be a part of every reboot so far. I as a voice actor, I always let them know, hey, I worked on the original series. And we got to put you in and do a voice or two. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to do that.
That's a great in. You worked on the original. You got to bring it back for every reboot.
Yeah. Now, I'm a lucky penny. I'm a rabbit's foot.
Now, you're a working actor, and you've done close to 300 some odd acting assignments as per your IMDb. But not one of them, but you did a handful for your mom's TV son, Ron Howard, a.k.a. Richard Cunningham. You were in Paper, Apollo 13, EDTV, Howthe Grinch Stole Christmas, as well as Frost / Nixon. First and foremost.
Yeah, that's right.
Little insight.
Right. You said EDTV as if it was a show about erectile dysfunction, but that was EdTV.
Yes, I guess, I got to learn how to read my own handwriting.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, we've all got our minds on lots of things. But that was a Matthew McConaughey thing. Apollo 13 was a fantastic project to work on. I love working, whenever I get a chance to work for Ron, it's a pleasure. He's a terrific director. He knows what he's doing, and he tells great stories. And he gets the best of the best to work with him. And so I worked on The Grinch for 4 months with Jim Carrey and Christine Baranski and so many other really talented people. And Apollo 13 was great, though. I have to say that's a movie that if it's on TV, I kind of have to sit and watch it for a while because it's such a great story, so unique, and I learned a lot. It was really, really fantastic.
No, all those movies, you know what? And we were talking a little bit off air. Here in New York, there's MeTV where your mom's show Happy Days is still on. Laverne and Shirley,
Right.
Brady Bunch, Gilligan's Island. And it's just great. You know, I'm a child of the 70s and the 80s. It's great to see all of those nostalgic TV shows that are still fun and relevant. They're clean, you know, the whole family can watch. And a lot of what they talk about really still is apropos to today. You know, a lot of life situations and things that went on. And it's great that you know, Ron Howard is one of the great, you know, film directors, producers of all times now at this point, even though he started out as Opie and Andy on TV back in the day. And it's just great to see that, you know, he's got you in some of his movies and you're able to keep it, you know, rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to Ron and his whole family. I've known them for a really long time. By the way, he's got a wonderful book out. He wrote a memoir with his brother Clint called The Boys. And it's an amazing story about their upbringing and their parentage. And I recommend it highly to anyone. The Boys by Ron and Clint Howard. They did a big tour when it came out last year, and I enjoyed every page. It was amazing.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Now, speaking of Happy Days, Marion Ross, aka Mrs. Cunningham, Mrs. C. How's Mom?
Thanks for asking. Mom is great. She's 93.
God bless her.
And still going strong. Still lives alone. She's got a lovely estate and enjoying her retirement. She's been retired only about 6 years, and she really worked really hard all her life and was a great inspiration to me and my whole family. And we're just taking care of her. We treasure her. She's doing great. We had a wonderful Easter with her, big egg hunt, you know, and ate together and played bocce. We did all the things that we normally do in the house.
Well,
anyway, she sends her love. She says she raised you, and you've turned out beautifully.
Well, you know what? And I still watch it. Your mom's an American icon, one of the endearing figures of, you know, television history, Mrs. C. You know, everyone, you know, I was telling some people, oh, you know, I'm interviewing Jim Meskimen, and he has a famous mom known as Mrs. C, and everyone exactly knew who I was talking about. It. No one was like, who? Mrs. C? Is that Mrs. Calendar, the pot pie people? They all know who Mrs. C is, and it's great that she's still, you know, living her life, enjoying retirement, and like I said, watching you on social media. I know you have a lot of pics with Mom, and looks as good as she did when I saw her on Happy Days. She hasn't aged, and she's just doing great. I should have half that luck when I get older.
I know. Well, you know, the secret seems to be to maintain an interest in life, which she always did. She's very interested in other people, and she never really agreed to be an old person. So it may sound metaphysical, but I noticed that she always just behaved, and still continues to this day to behave, you know, like kind of like a young person. So it's a state of mind, and she's a great example of it. And I'm just trying to keep up.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Now, Jim, speaking of keeping up, how can my audience find, follow, and keep up with everything Jim Meskimen?
A nice segue, Joe. Well, the way you do it is, the best way to do it is, you know, either go to Instagram, where I'm at Jimpressions. That's my easy to remember handle, Jimpressions. Same for YouTube. I'm on Twitter at Jim Ross Meskimen, my middle name. And also on TikTok, Jimpressions on TikTok. I've been lately putting up a lot of different crazy content there. So I'm easy to find, and I do hope that your listeners will check me out on YouTube. I put up a video a day at least. I do a thing called the Celebrity Fortune Cookie, where I take a fortune cookie out of a bowl, and I spin the wheel and get a celebrity name, and then read it in that celebrity voice and talk about the fortune for, you know, a minute or two. So that's a great way to start your day. And then there's all kinds of other content I put up. I put a lot of Colonel Sandersin stuff up there too, just in case you know, you're a little bit hungry.
Well, that is great, and actually, you're making me hungry with that voice.
Have some mashed potatoes, man.
I love them, man. Those awesome. Those, when you put that on the little biscuit, I'm good to go.
And put it on the biscuit. That's right. It's all hand washed and hand breaded. I love doing that character. It's fun. I've created a series of videos where he Colonel Sanders calls up different iconic people. It's like these archival phone messages that I dug up somewhere. Colonel Sanders calls Walt Disney or George Lucas or Marlon Brando, and they have a conversation on the phone. So it's I find a lot of ways to be creative these days. I'm home a lot.
And you know what? And Colonel Sanders did that whole commercial, that whole the whole portrayal of Colonel Sanders is once again, that's another iconic piece of TV history, because there'll never be another one. And the old school commercials are some of the most memorable that are out there, and especially now that you're keeping the voice alive and keeping it going. It's definitely great, and it definitely brings back memories as to when I was a kid. Parents bringing home the big bucket of chicken and everything else, and the fixings for everybody.
The fixings. Yeah,
it's
well, great, Joe. I'm glad.
It's definitely fun. All right then, Jim Meskimen, actor, impressionist. Thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. I wish you nothing but luck and success in all that you do.
Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate it. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, son, Jim is talented. Not only does he do the impressions, he does art. He's an actor. The voices he does and can do are just endless.
I know. I'm hungry. I didn't even realize about the KFC, so I am starving.
Oh, I love a little KFC.
So good.
Growing up.
Extra crispy.
Yeah, that big bucket with the
mashed potatoes.
The mashed potatoes, but the bucket had just like a cardboard or a thick paper cardboard lid that just popped in. Great snacks. Always a good treat to have, and it's great to have Jim on the line with us, and is able to speak with us, and also hear that his mom is doing well. Which, by the way, everyone, his mom, Marion Ross, will be on next week's show. She was kind enough to speak with us, and it was an honor and a pleasure to speak with her. And I thank Jim for putting that together.
TV legend, let me tell you.
TV legend, super sweet person from one of the greatest TV shows of all times, Happy Days. So it was truly an honor and a pleasure to speak with her.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Well, I'm also excited to hear about the Kentucky Derby. Giddy up, right? We got Andy Paige coming up.
Here we go.
All right, everyone, let's welcome to the line friend of the Big Fat Joey Show, media and style expert, Andy Paige. Andy, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
I am so happy to be back with you. Happy spring.
Happy spring where you are. Happy, I guess.
Not so spring
here in New York. It is a cold, dank, wet day today.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. As a New Yorker, I learned a long time ago that if I was going to keep my sanity, I had to leave in April.
You know what?
So it's true. Where I am today, it is sunny and clear and beautiful and 72 degrees as I speak to you right now.
Oh, it's overcast, dank, and I think about 42 here in New York right now.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's going to rain any minute.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to report last night, but it's going to rain any minute. But you know what? I am super duper excited because next week you are going to be going to the Kentucky Derby down in Churchill Downs, Kentucky. And I am super excited because I've always wanted to know the hats, the beautiful, beautiful hats that women and men are wearing down there.
Yeah, Louisville comes alive every year. The Kentucky Derby is always the first Saturday in May. And really, it's Derby week. There are festivities that start Monday with dawn at the Downs. And that's the big kickoff. It starts at dawn. And when the horses come out, you can actually watch them start to train. And there's parades. There's things that go on the entire week. One of my favorite actual activities at Churchill Downs during Derby week is something called the Kentucky Oaks. And the Kentucky Oaks is the Friday before the Derby, and it's called the Pink Out because it's the day where all of the mares run. It's the running of the ladies. Mm-hmm. So only the ladies run, the female horses run on the Kentucky Oaks, and everyone is in pink. So you have to wear a pink hat and a pink suit and a pink dress, and it's just a sight to behold. And all of the roses are pink because, as you know, The next day is the running of the roses, which is the Kentucky Derby, and then everything becomes red. So on Friday, everything is pink, and once the 10 races of the day are over, then the people come out, the landscape people come out, the entire place goes from pink to red overnight, and then it is Derby Day. And a lot of people don't realize that there are actually 10 races a day. And so the actual Kentucky Derby is the 10th race of the day. So, but the races start at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then the actual Kentucky Derby is at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Andy, it's Sin. So this sounds like a lot of packing to do, because now we need an outfit in pink, an outfit in red. Like, I mean, how do you pack for this?
Let me tell you. So right now I have 4 dresses and 4 incredible hats that each have their own box.
I knew it.
It is
and
true.
Shoes, right? Shoes.
And shoes. Well, you know, the shoes are really important, because the interesting thing about the Derby is I have been there at years where it poured down the entire time, and it's extremely muddy. So you do have to choose your shoes very, very wisely. And there's lots of walking around, because you want to go to the paddocks, you want to look at the horses, you want to, enjoy everything. So shoes are very, very important. You want to look elegant, but you still have to be comfortable. And yeah, the Derby is one of those occasions where no one wimps out. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to the Kentucky Derby, then everybody there has tried their hardest. And it's really a sight to behold. Like no one is, too good to try. And everyone really puts their best foot forward on Derby Day. And the men look incredible in their Easter egg hues. Mm-hmm. And the women look amazing. And it's true. The women and the men wear hats. Everything from, old boating hats, or boaters as they call them, to a great, chapeau. I mean, there's just an incredible array of hats and suits and beautiful dresses. And, when I'm always buying my hat, sometimes I find that people are like, oh, is that going to be too much? And I'm like, there's no such thing as too much on Derby Day. There's just no such thing.
Over the top is better. Now, do you go to it do you love a certain store for that? Or is it just when you're like out and about and you see it, like, that's it, I got to get it?
Well, I have to be honest. There are a few stores in the South and that are amazing. But the truth is, what's really happened over the past few years is there are incredible websites. Mm-hmm. And so you can work with a milliner and send them photos of your dresses, and then work with them to create a hat. Or you can do the reverse and choose the hat and then go and find the dress. I've done it both ways. But it's just so fun. I mean, how many times in your life do you get to just be so over the top? It almost feels like a wedding.
That. No, I love that.
when you put on that veil on your wedding day, you're like, I'm a bride. And let me tell you, when you put on your hat on Derby Day, you're like, I am ready for the Derby. It just is such a step back into time. And it's such a time where, people dressed, and it was just, it feels like an old tradition that is just still so very special. And I do think it's like our Mecca. Like everyone needs to do it at least once. Then we have to do it.
I love it. Because like you said, it's so nice, and just that energy just to get dressed and look beautiful, because now I feel like everyone's out and about in like jeans and like no one gets like over the top. And leisure wear now, especially now. It's so nice to like get dressed and be over the top. I'm for it. I love it. And that energy, I love it.
True. It's true. And the other thing that's really lovely is, because everyone has tried their hardest, people are so complimentary. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just one of those days where everybody's happy. Everyone is thrilled to see what you put together and your creation. And there's not one person who's not complimenting another. It's just, it really is lovely. And then of course there's money to be won and lost. Yes. I actually was with someone at the Derby 2 years ago that won $1 million on
Oh my God. That is awesome. That is so cool. Yes. There's like I said, so much energy going on. I love it. And just the horses, they're like, gorgeous.
They are so gorgeous. Absolutely so gorgeous. And, the other thing that's really exciting is, so there's the grandstand where, everyone is, dressed to the nines and it's beautiful. But there's also this huge party that goes on in the infield where people can bring their campers. And it's really like Mardi Gras. I mean, kind of the joke is if you're an infielder, they don't even like what horses, right? So the infield is a whole different vibe where, people are like barefooted and in cutoff shorts and sweatshirts, and they are partying on a whole different level.
Oh, fun.
And it's literally right across the track.
It sounds so. Now, like, also the same thing, like you go to a baseball game and like it's all about hot dogs and peanuts. Like, what do they even like? Is it like drinking and like what kind of like, I guess food wise?
Well, you have the mint julep that's famous along with the hat.
You got it. The mint julep is the drink of choice there. They're all about their Kentucky bourbon. And so a mint julep is basically a crushed mint, ice. You have a little simple syrup and then straight bourbon. And people sip on that all day. But yeah, so at Churchill Downs, there are several restaurants there. So there's incredible food. And then in the infield, as you can imagine, there are food trucks. So you get a little bit of everything there. But food and the drink and the music, there's lots of bands, and lots of Kentucky bluegrass. And so there's a little bit of all of that that's happening all day long. And again, the races start at 8 a.m. So it is a full day of festivities for sure. But there are also parties all week. So the reason that I have, 4 dresses and 4 hats is because you're at the Churchill Downs all day, and then there are these huge parties at night. So the Barnstable party is probably one of the biggest parties where all the celebrities go, and that's super fun, and everyone's dressed to the nines. And so there's both day and evening events. It is something to really, really behold and enjoy. And I have to tell you, if you want to do it, I can absolutely, we can put it on our calendar and we can make it happen for next year for sure. Because let's face it, you can go as media.
Oh, it sounds fun. I'm ready.
That is true.
I got to work on the hats because I love sun hats. So I have a ton of those, but I need like over the top hats.
So speaking of the hats, how do you pair them? I have a hard enough time as a guy just pairing the right handkerchief in my lost for words here.
Like suit jacket
or sport. How do you pair? I mean, especially for women. I mean, men, I guess we would just wear the fedora, but how do you pair the hat? I mean, you got your 4 dresses, your 4 hats. How do you decide what hat looks good? Because doing my research, there's you have the wide brim, you have the fedora, and then you have what's called the fascinator. So I'm curious, how does this work?
That's true. So this year I'm wearing 2 wide brim hats and 2 fascinators. So I actually I choose the type of hat based on the bodice of my dress. So one of my dresses is an asymmetrical dress. So it's one shoulder's exposed. So I felt like a fascinator on the opposing side of my head was probably the most balanced and would be the most beautiful. So I really choose the type of hat based on, the upper portion or the bodice of my dress. And that's how I kind of work with it. But also, like this year, my derby dress has sequined bluebirds on it. So I'm wearing a fascinator because I'm actually wearing a bird's nest with little baby birds' eggs and a big
cute.
Bluebird.
Oh, I love that one. That one's like, I like that. That's different. Very pretty.
So then there's that as well, So I wish I could say that there was a formula, but there's kind of not. But I will tell you that, I started going to the Derby in the 90s, and there's been a huge shift in the past decade to fascinators. Away from the super large brim hats. Now, the large brim hats traditionally were truly to shade you from the sun because not all of Churchill Downs is undercover. A lot of it is you're out in the sun all day. So that is honestly why the hats were so important because, women were trying to save their alabaster skin. But the fascinator has definitely become the hat to enjoy, and that offers no sun protection at all. So it's strictly for just beautification and decoration.
Now, how do you keep your makeup all day? Because that's another thing. Like a special medication with the heat,
Kentucky humidity.
Right? How do you? Is there something special? Do you use like a mist set for your makeup? Like, how does that work?
You got it. Of course, I use a mist set. Yeah, and I carry a few cosmetics with me because, you go from day to evening. So yeah, I actually, as you know, I invented the Girly Go Garter.
Yes.
And so in my Girly Go Garter, I can carry up to 3 pounds of my essentials. So I have my phones, I've got my wallet, and I have lots of cosmetics to make sure that I can keep my look fresh for, 12 to 16 hours, actually.
Well, let's talk about that Girly Go Garter, because I have it. I used it to go into Manhattan. It was perfect to run around the subways. I had like you said, the lip gloss, holding the cell phone, EpiPen in there, a few dollars, my money and cards in there. And it worked. I loved it because I knew I was hands-free. And if I had to run somewhere, I was ready to go.
Yeah, it's awesome, especially for, doing anything is great when you can be without a purse, but especially on a special occasion like a wedding or, going to the Kentucky Derby. I mean, lugging a handbag and also being worried about putting it down.
Yes.
And, you've got lots of your important
activity
things there, your
going
phone,
on,
your
yep.
money. Yeah, so and plus you're drinking, right?
Yes.
So it's easy to let your purse get away from you. But the Girly Go Garter just offers a sense of security, and because you can load it, I carry my cosmetics. I keep myself, together, and I'm really, really grateful for it. The gripper is the most important part, and the gripper allows you. We hold 19 patents on the product, and the gripper allows you to carry the weight, which is fantastic. So I'm glad that you love yours.
We love it. I
honest,
love it. Yes.
I've never met a woman who doesn't.
And it serves double duty. I went to the Yankees home opener. It holds 6 hot dogs, just to let you know.
I said, I have to try this out.
Oh my God. 6 hot dogs. Well, you know what? I have to tell you, I am thrilled that you guys want to know so much about the Derby, and I do think that this needs to be on your agenda for next year. Again, it's the first Saturday in May.
Okay.
It has been, I believe this is the 152nd running. So it's during COVID, they did some interesting things during COVID to try to get the races off and to try to get them going. But it's also the first race of what's known as the Triple Crown, right?
Yes,
so you've got the Kentucky Derby, you've got the Preakness, and then in New York, you end it with the Belmont Stakes.
Yes.
And if you remember in 2019, Justify was the horse that won the Derby, the Preakness, and then I was at the Belmont Stakes to watch Justify win the Triple Crown, which was pretty amazing. But we have the Belmont Stakes right there in our backyard.
Yes.
Have you ever done the Belmont Stakes?
Yes, and loads of fun.
I've gone to Belmont Stakes numerous times, and in a previous life when I worked in TV, I worked the Belmont Stakes. And you know what? I think the Belmont Stakes could use a little bit of Kentucky Derby vibe, flair to it. Bring it up a notch with some more debonair clothing, some hats, some fun, some sophistication.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I was there in 2019, there was probably 30% of the people were trying really hard to up level. But you still had, a lot of people who were like, this is our town. This isn't, Kentucky. So it's true, but Longines, which is known for beautiful watches and jewelry and timepieces, they have been a huge supporter of horse racing internationally for a long time, and they are the major sponsor of the Belmont Stakes. And Longines is working really, really hard to actually up-level Belmont Stakes. So, who knows? Every time I've been, it seems to have gotten a little better and a little better and a little better.
We haven't been there since, I say, 2015-ish. And we go out east into the Hamptons, where Longines sponsors the Hamptons Horse Show. So, they have that big clock out there. And it's just fun, and you see, like I said, they're majestic animals. They're beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a tall guy, 6'7", so I don't look up to too many things or people in this world, but looking up to the horses.
The training that goes on,
and the training that these horses endure, and they're treated like part of the family, because they are.
Yeah, they're very expensive parts of the family. Very, very expensive parts of the family. It's true. The horses should not be overlooked. It's not just about the hats and the pomp and the circumstances. Let me tell you, those horses are incredible. I mean, what beautiful animals. It's one of my favorite things is to actually go down there. Because at the Kentucky Derby, you can get very close to the horses and actually see them. And, I've even had horses, kind of come over to me. So it is a very special part of the day, being able to really kind of witness the grandeur and just the majesty of these incredible animals. And they know what they're doing. I mean, to watch them get ready, and when they do their prep circle and they actually walk around the track as they're getting ready to load in, it's like they just know. It's amazing that their instinct, and they get very, very excited. So yeah, you're right. The horses are a gorgeous part of it for sure.
Well, speaking about excitement, I want to know, Andy, what do I love summer. I know we've been talking this morning. We all love that beautiful weather. What do I need in my summer closet to like look gorgeous? Like what outfits or what jackets or colors?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting because we are still in a position right now where things are very much oversized. And, for some of us, that's fantastic. For other people, they're a little over it. But you're finding that skinny jeans are out, very loose-fitting jeans, very loose-fitting jackets, billowy, sundresses, which are fantastic for being, very comfortable. And then the flip side of that is we're definitely back to the 90s with bright neon colors, lots of pink. Lots of neon pink. If you choose anything in pink or green, you are going to be set for the season for sure. Those are the two really big colors. And then with the 90s side of things, there are halters and midriffs, and you're going to definitely see, shorter skirts. So I actually had my 19-year-old cousin say to me, she's like, I feel like I'm either going to be like a 90s rock star or I'm going to be a prairie wife. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be for Easter. Am I going to be a 90s rock star or am I going to be a prairie wife? And I was like, that's pretty much the choice,
that's
right?
The look.
That's pretty much the choice. But, the overarching things is just to keep in mind that everything kind of loose fitting and oversized is working. And then if you choose your colors, which again, pinks and greens are huge. I will tell you another trend that I love for summer, and that is colored sunglasses. Mm-hmm. So sunglasses are in, Easter egg hues with blues and greens and pinks and yellows. And I absolutely love that. I think that's fantastic. But yeah, if you just kind of go oversized and think 80s and 90s, shoulder pads are back, like all of that, I think that you will be right on trend.
And also I feel, how about like the jean jacket? Like everyone needs like that perfect jean jacket to like throw over everything. Is that true?
Of course, that's always true. In the summertime, I'll be honest with you, I prefer a white denim jacket. Mm-hmm. I think if you do a white denim jacket, it just makes everything look a little more crisp and summery. And, versus a denim jacket, which to me just looks a little more fall and a little more collegiate. Mm-hmm. So I think a white denim jacket is just a little more grown up, and it's a great way to go. So you're right. That denim jacket is a perfect must-have for your wardrobe for sure.
It sounds good. And how about that wearing white after Memorial Day? Labor Day. I apologize. Labor Day. Is that true? What do you feel about that?
I have to say, the way that I like to do white after Labor Day is to do all white. So if you wear like a cream, and if you wear like a cement, and if you will do like a white on white where it's, 3 or 4 different tones of white, I think you can do that the entire year, and it just looks beautiful. They call it a winter white. So if you add winter white or cream with your stark whites from summer, as long as, the fabric is not a linen or a summer fabric, I think it can be worn with elegance all year long.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. I hope we see you on television. I'm so excited. I'm going to look for you. I got to look for the hat.
I guess the Kentucky Derby is not a place to have a first date and say, oh, I'll be wearing the red hat. You'll see me in the corner. That's probably not a good choice for a first date.
No, I'll be one of a million in a beautiful hat. But I will tell you that I'm happy to share my photos of all of my outfits. I'll definitely put them on my sites and show off my girly go garter and how I've put it all together. So if you follow me on Pinterest at Andy Paige, or if you head to my website, sincebell.com, or if you follow me on Instagram at the Andy Paige, you will see everything I'm wearing at the Derby. And we can make our plans for next year, Joey and Sen.
Yes.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, thank you so much for your interest in the Derby. I'm excited to inform your listeners and hope that it just continues to grow and more people are able to experience it.
All right. Well, Andy Paige, media and style expert, thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. It's been nothing but a pleasure. We wish you luck and success in all that you do, and have fun. Put a couple of shekels down. Give me the trifecta over at the Kentucky Derby and win some cash.
Thank you, Andy.
I'll play $10 for you guys.
Thank you. Have so much fun. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy.
I really appreciate this.
Like I said, I learned a lot about, just with the hat thing and everything, I learned a lot from Andy. You have what's called the wide brim hats and all the different styles and the different names they have for them. You learned a lot. You just think, people wearing hats, and it's a long and storied tradition at a great horse race.
I think it's going to be so much fun for her. I'm excited to see it. Maybe we'll see her on TV. I'm so excited.
Yeah, in that crowd of people, you know what? We'll look for the girl wearing the hat. I'm sure we'll be able to pick her out relatively easily.
That's for sure. But I was excited also to learn about all the different fashions and what to have in your closet for summer and just everything. And instead of going to that go-to jean jacket, go for the white jean jacket. So I got to clean up a little bit in there. My closet.
Yeah, you definitely do, and it was great that Andy was able to share some
tips.
Some tips coming up for the new summer here, and hopefully, this pandemic thing will be a distant memory, and we can get back to some normalcy. And by everyone getting out to the Kentucky Derby, I guess that's just one more step forward in people trying to regain a normal lifestyle. Well, it was great having her on. Great friend of the Big Fat Joey Show, and we're definitely going to have her on again because styles change. People they change their styles, what they want to wear, how they want to wear it. And I know Sin's a fan of the girly garter, which we picked up last time we spoke with her, and she's used it quite often going out. It's just right, Sin's a lot easier. It's a hands-free thing for you,
especially for the city and going on the subway, running to the train.
Yes, definitely makes your life easier and makes my life a little easier too. I don't have to jam all your stuff into my limited pockets.
That's true.
True. All right, everyone. Before we go out today, we're going to wind up going out with our interview with Ray Castronovo of Streetwise. And we're going to be hearing his latest song, 440, from his EP, The Other Side. Remember, please check out his Instagram, Streetwise NYC, to get tickets to his Leukemia and Lymphoma benefit coming up this Friday, May 6th at 8 p.m. at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead. Also, check out my IG post. It'll give you all the info you need. All right, everyone. This is Big Fat Joey. Big Fat Joey Show. Biggest thing on radio here with Sin, reminding everyone to
make every sandwich count.
Peace. All right, up next, my interview with Ray Castronovo of Streetwise. And following up, his song, 440. All right, everyone, let's welcome to the line, friend of the Big Fat Joey Show, Ray Castronovo of Streetwise. Ray, welcome back to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Good. Hi, Joey. How are you? Thanks for having me back. How's everything? What a pleasant surprise for you to have us back. Nice.
No, thank you for coming back. You're doing some great things. We haven't spoken since, I think, before this crazy world called pandemic, but you've got a great charity event coming up this Friday, May 6th, that really affected you literally down to your soul. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened and now how you're involved with this charity event?
Yeah, so about 18 years ago, Joey, I had a situation myself. So I got diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia myself. And, the odds were against me, but we stuck through it. And without fundraising and without raising money to do these tests and these clinical studies, there's a big possibility that I won't be here today. So my son, my older son, so he's an attorney, and he was asked if he would be a candidate for Man of the Year for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And he agreed to do it because of what happened with me. And I give him a lot of credit because he's putting a lot of work to raise some money. So when he told me about it and he says, would you be one of my team members? I said, Raymond, absolutely. I'll give it everything I got. So I said to him, matter of fact, when my first album got released about 8 months ago, it didn't make sense to go and start trying to put on shows because the pandemic was around. Shows were iffy. People were a little concerned about going out.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got back in the studio where we're now getting ready to release our second album in a couple of weeks. So I said, you know what I'll do? We'll go to the Suffolk Theater because we're starting our tour that way. We have a great manager that just signed us up. And what I'll do is I'll have a double album release party at the Suffolk Theater on May 6th. And all the proceeds will go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So, Joe, there's so many people out there that to date, we raised about $37,000 already. And this is without the ticket sales, just people coming around and just helping out.
Well, that's fantastic. Yes, you know what? No matter what people say about New Yorkers and things of that nature, when push comes to shove and there's a worthy cause, New Yorkers know how to put their hand in their pocket and help those in need. And definitely, raising $37,000 is a great start. Now, the fundraiser is going to be this Friday, May 6th, at the Suffolk Theater at 118 East Main Street in Riverhead, and it's a double album release party. Which two albums are you dropping on this Friday?
So we have, the first album, which, you and I spoke about, was called Crossing Bridges.
Right.
Crossing Bridges. We have a nice photo of the bridge of the Brooklyn Bridge going to Manhattan. This album is called The Other Side. So you're in Manhattan and you're at the other side. And we have some, music, like we have our different genres always. And we have a couple, one of them, is 440. It's about girls who like to drive fast cars.
Nice.
We have one of them called Shadows. It's a little love song. It has that little 50s feel with, it's the current day type of sound. And, we mix our genres up.
Well, listen, you know what? Your first album, Crossing Bridges, definitely a smash hit, and you're following it up. And I'm just so glad, hopefully this pandemic is ending and people are more apt to come out and enjoy not only your benefit, but just live events in general. Because I know I'm itching to get to a ball game, I'm itching to get to a concert, I'm just itching to get to just hanging out in the local bar, pub, and with friends, watch a game, or watch something on TV, maybe a little pay-per-view event. And I'm super excited that this is being hosted at the Suffolk Theater.
Oh, yeah, thank you. And, I learned some statistics, too, during this process that, every 2 minutes, somebody's diagnosed with leukemia, and every 10 minutes, somebody passes away from it. So whatever we could do to try to help research, clinical trials, it helps people and their families and their way of lives.
Now, speaking of helping, how can my audience, first and foremost, find, follow, and keep up with everything Ray Castronovo and Streetwise, and how can they get tickets to this great fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society over at the Suffolk Theater on May 6th? So
our Instagram is Streetwise NYC. Our Facebook is Streetwise, and the website is Streetwise NY. And you can go on the Suffolk Theater website and you can purchase tickets. And I know that we're giving you a handful of tickets just to give away for a bunch of your listeners because, it's been great and you've been great. So we look forward to everything.
Yes, and I must thank you for that, and thank you for the invite for myself. And as I explained, off air, it's the wife's birthday weekend, so we're booked. But you know what? I'm definitely supporting you, and I appreciate you giving tickets out to my audience so they can come out and support you. Well, Ray Castronovo, Streetwise, thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. I wish you nothing but luck and success in all that you do. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, and thank you, Joey, and happy birthday to your wife.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
I appreciate it.
How many girls out there like to drive a fast car? Well, we know this girl. She likes to drive a Dodge Charger RT with a 440 engine. She likes to drive fast. Turn you on. You got a 440, baby. You wanna take me for a ride? Yes, you do. You got a 440, baby. I wanna take you for a ride. Yes, I do. And then once I get inside, I'm gonna drive you wild. Shifting ever again. got a 440, baby, you wanna take me for a ride? Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
You got a 440, baby, I wanna take you for a ride. Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Because once I get inside, I'm gonna drive you wild.